What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to my YouTube viewers. Welcome to another juicy restaurant tip. What's up, TikTok? We're back with some tips. Hold on. Let me. What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing? My name is Ed Harris, and I am a restaurant consultant. All right, I help people that own restaurants. Right, I assist them in maximizing revenue and creating systems. I help them get their business right. You know what I mean? So today I took some notes, of course. I like notes. It's easier to stay focused. But today we're talking about systems and execution, right? Super important. Last night, if you missed it, we were talking about mistakes with your menus, right? And just what that looks like, because there are a lot of things that can happen when you don't have your menus right. But today we're talking about systems and execution. And for those of you wondering what this baby is right here, this is my fire cider. It's been sitting in my cabinet for 30 days, 31 days to be exact. So I'm about to separate it and finish it off. So in here, strong. So in here I have a bunch of amazing things that are just really good for you, especially during the winter, right? So we have rosemary, we have thyme, we have garlic, ginger, turmeric, we have blood orange, lemons, limes, oranges, grapefruit, right? Like just really amazing. And of course, apple cider. Like you can't make this without apple cider, right? That's the key. So, we're just gonna separate it. So in the meantime, right, let's talk about why we're actually here. So systems and execution, right? Super, super important. And the first thing with systems, and I'm talking to my restaurant owners, right? This live is for my restaurant owners, right? Just to give you a little, backstory, I've been cooking professionally for almost 30 years, right? For almost 30 years. So I've seen a lot, I've done a lot when it comes to the restaurant business, and the things that really affect a restaurant is systems, right? If you don't have the right systems in place, you do so much damage to yourself and to your business, and then you end up not having a business, right? So it's really important to have systems in place. And the first thing I want to talk about is prep, right? Your prep flow needs to be legit, because if you are not creating a system to get your prep done efficiently and everybody's just kind of coming in and doing whatever they want when they want, you're gonna end up in a situation where you're running out of mise en place, right? You're running out of food, you're running out of things that you shouldn't be running out of. And with your prep not being right, of course, now you're in a situation where you either have to send someone out to get something for you, or you're 86ing ingredients that you shouldn't be 86ing, right? Which is crazy. Like, no one wants to go to a restaurant that you've been looking forward to for how long, and then the next thing you get there and half of the menu's 86 because the operator, the owner, the manager, the chef didn't do the correct inventory sheet, didn't order the right ingredients, right? So all of these things play a really significant role in your prep flow. And most importantly, when you create that prep flow, you need to be able to have, I basically call it an assembly line, right? And you don't have to have a car set up, a factory to have an assembly line. Like when you're prepping, there should be an assembly line as well, right? Because you should be able, depending on your operation, right? There are operators that don't have the revenue or have the money to have this massive prep crew, which is totally fine. But you should at least be able to have one person come in to help prep and just get the line cooks ready, so that way when they come in, they are able to efficiently get their prep ready, right? Because it's super important for you to be able to help your staff get the work done. Because I've worked in restaurants where there were no prep cooks. I came in, I was working garde manger at first. I had to get garde manger ready. And soon as garde manger was done getting ready, I had to then move on to pastry and get pastry ready. So you're doing a ton of work, you're burnt out, your staff is not happy. You know what I mean? So it really makes a lot of sense, and it really helps everyone involved in the restaurant to have a system in place where even if you hire someone to come in for 3 hours a day, they're going to be able to peel all the onions, peel the potatoes, peel the carrots, right? They can chop a bunch of different things. They can just get that initial grunt work out of the way, so when your main staff comes in to handle service, they're not stuck behind the line while service is going on, still prepping, right? So that's the first thing I want to talk about with your prep flow. Like, it is very important to have a prep flow that just works really well, and understand why you need prep people and how to efficiently get them to do what they need to do, right? The next thing I would say is training mistakes, right? You know, you have new staff coming in, right? You're excited. It's time to get people trained. And what happens, right? If you give the wrong person the go ahead to train your new staff, guess what's going to happen? You just gave them the okay to show them all the bad habits, right? You just gave them the okay to do things the way they shouldn't be doing it. And now you're wasting money, you're wasting time, you're wasting revenue, because one, you're going to have to retrain that person. Two, you're now spending extra money paying for something that you shouldn't be paying for in the first place, right? So make sure when it comes time to train a new person that you put your A person, right? We're talking the person that you can count on regardless of what's going on in their life. Like, you know, when they come to work, they have your best interest, they have the restaurant's best interest, and they're doing what they're supposed to do to get the job done. All right? You don't want to leave your training to somebody that doesn't care for the job or doesn't care for the business. Like, that's dangerous, right? And on top of that, when you are training your new employees, you want to make sure that you go over everything you're supposed to go over with them, like your expectations. You don't just kind of leave them to fend for themselves, because this is how they also develop bad habits initially, right? So super, super important to pay attention to all of those things when it comes to training, right? And last but not least, with training, you want to make sure that you take care of them. A lot of places, they will have people train and they might not pay. You want to make sure you pay, because that is going to let people know that you're serious and you care about them. What's up, Todd? You know what I mean? Even if it's not the full pay that you would normally be paying them on a regular basis, at least give them half of what they would normally get during, you know, their 8-hour day, 12-hour day, 10-hour day, whatever it is. This way they appreciate you and you show that you appreciate them too, right? The next thing, and by the way, you know, for everyone joining, we're talking about systems and we're talking about execution, right? When it comes to owning a restaurant, owning a bar, right? Any kind of hospitality environment, right? And for me, for those of you who are just joining, I've been cooking professionally for almost 30 years, right? I've worked in hotels, restaurants, private event spaces. I've opened restaurants in hotels. I've opened cafes, 300-seat cafes. I've done all of it. You know, fine dining, high-end restaurants. Yes, babe. So, you know, this is why we're talking about this today. So if there are any restaurant owners in the audience right now, say hi. Let me know who you are. You don't look old enough to have been cooking that long. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I'm almost 50. Yeah, but seriously, I've been cooking for almost 30 years. I'm going on what, 27 years, I think, right? So if there are any restaurant owners in the audience, say what's up. Hi, restaurant owner here. What's up, Todd? Welcome, welcome. All right, glad to have you here. What kind of food do you do? Hey, from Massachusetts. Where are you from? Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. All right. So yeah, we're talking about restaurants and we're talking about how do we efficiently do it properly, right? And for those of you watching me right now, what I'm working on is my fire cider. You see, Aline, I got you. I read your mind. So I'm finishing my fire cider. It's been in my cabinet for 30 days, 31 days to be exact. Jersey, what's up, Jersey? Nice, nice. So yeah, it's my fire cider. I did it with blood orange, oranges, limes, lemons, grapefruit, ginger, turmeric, garlic, onions, all that good stuff. Love fire cider. So good for you. Yes, it is. It's amazing, especially wintertime. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to finish it off. I'm also plant-based. So I'm going to use maple syrup instead of honey to sweeten it, right? And yeah, so back to the kitchens, right? Back to why we're here. All right. So, once you avoid those training mistakes, the next thing we want to talk about is why kitchens break under pressure, right? Super, super important. Super, super important. Why do kitchens break under pressure? And one of the main reasons, where did you train? Culinary school. So I trained in New York, the Art Institute. All right, save me during so many rounds of flu season. Yep. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Yeah, so I went to school in New York City. I trained for 2 years at the Art Institute. And besides training in New York City, I traveled all over the world, went to Asia to learn as well, India, China, you name it, all over the place, Africa, I travel everywhere. So for me, acquiring knowledge is something I take very personally, and I use it to, better myself and better my clients, right? I do a variety at my eatery: taco salads, sandwiches, Alfredo dishes, vegan options, and more. Nice, Todd. That's what I'm talking about.
So what is this?
So, Todd, what would you say is your biggest pain point, right, in your business? So we can have some fun, all right? Culinary adventures, yes. I love traveling. I love being able to learn while I'm traveling. It feeds my soul. You know what I mean? It feeds my soul. So Todd, while I'm waiting for you to give me your situation on what you would say is the biggest thing in your business, right? What would you, if you were to ask for help, what would it be, right? We're gonna touch on the pressure points for a kitchen, right? And what breaks a kitchen, right, under pressure is communication, right? When there is a lack of communication between front of the house and back of the house, that is very damaging, right? Because you update a menu, you change the menu, front of the house doesn't relay that to the staff, doesn't relay that to the customers coming in, and then you have clients coming in that have been there coming for 5-10 years, and they're like, oh, we wanted to order, the macaroni and cheese, and you guys took it off the menu. Now they're not happy, right? And now you have to figure out what you're gonna do to appease this client that's been coming here for years, and you don't have their favorite dish. So being able to,
Okay.
the fire's there.
I want some.
Touch a little bit more in there. All right. So it's really important to be able to nip those situations, right? You want to be able to avoid any kind of areas that will apply unnecessary pressure to your establishment, to your business. It's very, very important, because you don't want a situation where you have to deal with disgruntled customers, right? You don't want to deal with people that are like, well, I'm not happy because I came here, I made a reservation, I invited people, and I had no idea that you changed the menu. There was no notice or anything like that. And then you didn't update the menus, right? So it's really important to have a line of communication between the people that are in charge and the people running the operation. Especially if you're not doing it yourself, those managers, the executive chef, the head chef, the sous chef, whoever's in charge, they need to get on the ball, right? They need to make sure that everything that they're doing is what is needed for your particular establishment, right? So my fire cider is done, right? And one of the other things that really creates unnecessary pressure in the kitchen is, think about this, because I recently was consulting on a project and only one person in the kitchen could make a particular set of dishes, right, that they had on the menu. So when this person didn't come to work, guess what happened? They couldn't make the dishes. So they had to put other things on the menu that weren't normally on the menu. And that is like the biggest mistake you can make. You need to have recipe books. You need to have systems in place where if Tom doesn't come into work today, everything on the menu still gets created. Everything still gets done. So when I went into the operation and I saw that, immediately the first thing on my list was I need to get them a recipe book. So regardless of whoever's coming in or whoever calls out, we can still execute at the highest level and still get the work done. So make sure, for any restaurant owners that are watching and listening right now, make sure that you have a recipe book. Make sure that multiple people have access to all of the recipes that's needed to carry out the day-to-day operations, right? Tom said, customer service is important to me. My staff is some of my culinary students. Gotcha. Yeah, so customer service, that's something that I teach consistently. Like from the minute your customers walk into your establishment, they need to feel on cloud nine. You know what I mean? From the manager greeting to the chef, if depending on how your kitchen is set up, the wait staff, like everyone needs to be on the same level in terms of how you make the customers feel, right? Super important. And the thing is, the food is important, but what really makes people come back to your restaurant is how you make them feel. So if the food is amazing, but they felt like crap in your restaurant, they're not coming back, right? So it's really important to make sure that you make them feel good, you make them feel appreciated, like taking names, remembering birthdays, remembering anniversaries, having a system, a database created that you can add information to. When Miss Cherry comes in, she only likes sparkling water. You know, when Roger comes in, he always gets a fruit punch. Like, these are the things that you can create notes for and add to your customers, so that way you're already proactive in terms of what you're doing and you're being very proactive. So this automatically puts them in this happy state because they're like, oh wow, they remembered that I only like sparkling water. They remembered that I only like to sit at the table with the sunshine facing me. Like, these are things that I did working in different places, and you just see the customers light up. So customer service is something you have to do. And it doesn't matter who in your staff. It doesn't matter if they're students, if they're employees, if they're externs, interns. Everyone has to have the same level of customer service. It's super important. You'd think that would be common sense. I'm telling you, it's not. Common sense is not common. I'm telling you, it's not. So I teach them about business, and are they for the betterment? Yeah, it has to be. It has to be taught. You know what I mean? And even though they have recipes books, doesn't mean that the person is gonna do it right. But at least they have a recipe book. You know what I mean? Because you can at least get something done with a recipe book versus not getting it done at all, and then you 86 everything. But you see, that becomes the training, right? And that's where training comes into play. So regardless of if Tanya does baked potatoes really well and she's the only one that has the recipe, we need to teach everybody else. So when Tanya doesn't come in or she calls out sick or there's a family emergency, we can still get Jerry and Becca and somebody else to get the work done. You know what I mean? You are very smart. I'm learning more. I'm always willing to learn. Yeah, Todd, like that's the most important thing. It's like there's so much information out there, but the restaurant owners and operators, they also need, what's up, Max? They also need to go after the information. They also need to bring people in that can help them better their operation, because there's a lot of people that want to have a restaurant. There's a lot of people that have a restaurant, but a lot of people don't know how to operate a restaurant. Not because you know how to cook, you can have a restaurant, and not because you have a restaurant, you know how to cook. So there's things that fall in between those above and below that you need to have access to really be able to be efficient at doing restaurant and doing it really well. Right? Discussing kitchen challenges and recipe books. Share your biggest pain point. Yep. All right, what else we got going on here? Yes, training. They got learn from each other. Yep. That's it, people. So my fire cider is done, right? I'm really happy about it because I basically ran out. So this was made just in time because I probably have like maybe 3 tablespoons left of my old cider. So I'm super happy about this. Teaching, you're so amazing. You're amazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So Monday to Friday, you can find me live, right? Coming on here, helping restaurant owners, bar owners better their establishment, right? We talk about digital revenue. We talk about how to better your systems, how to better your staff. We talk about customer service. We talk about menus, recipe development, product development. I train people. I also help people create products. I help people make money while their business is closed. Because think about it, right? I'll leave you with this thought, food for thought, no pun intended. But imagine your restaurant is closed, service is over, but you're still making money, right? Like you should be able to make money not only when your restaurant is open, not only when you're ready for service, not only when your bar is open for drinks, but you should be able to make money while you're sleeping. You should be able to make money on your way to work. Imagine getting up, getting ready for work, getting to your business, and you already have $5,000 in the cash register. You already have $10,000 because you have amazing digital products that you can sell to people that love your business, that love to come visit you, but can't make it in because they're traveling or they're doing something. So these are the kind of things that I help business owners with. I help you create digital products that you can sell for your restaurant. So if you would like more, you know how to find me, contact me, and let's make some money. All right. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you tomorrow is Friday. I will see you later on. Peace and love.